I'm Lina. I live here in downtown Norfolk.
Okay, how long have you lived in downtown Norfolk?
A year.
What do you think so far?
I love it. Downtown Norfolk's always been a second home for me.
So, I usually like to start these interviews by asking what your earliest memory is, as far back as you can possibly remember. What's your earliest memory?
Oh, that's gonna have to be a hard one. I'd have to say my earliest memory would have to be in second grade when it was suggested by my teachers that I get placed into higher grade classes.
Oh, so you were, I guess, like an academic achiever, I imagine.
Yes.
Did you have a favorite subject?
Math.
Math. Did you happen to have a favorite teacher?
Well, I was homeschooled after second grade, so you can say I'm kind of biased. My mom was kind of my best teacher.
Okay. Is there a lesson your mom taught you outside of academics that has served you well in life?
Always treat people how you want to be treated.
I love that. Okay. So, could you tell me how you met your best friend?
We met online through a game, the game I'm actually playing right now on my phone.
What are you playing?
It's a game called Ingress. We actually recently had a huge event here in downtown Norfolk.
Really? Okay, so what did that event entail?
Basically, it was a battle for control over the area, two sides battling for control over what's called portals.
Portals, okay.
And basically, it's a territory control. Whoever can get the most points, I'm actually doing what's called fielding right now to maintain control over the area.
Okay.
The event drew people from all over the U.S.
Am I distracting you from your game?
Oh, no.
Are you sure? It's something you can do like passively in the background?
Yes.
How long have you been playing it?
10 years.
10 years. Wow. Okay.
All
So,
my childhood.
do you have, here's another question. What do you spend the most time doing outside of perhaps work or playing games? Is there something you spend a lot of time doing?
I am a AI engineer hobbyist.
AI engineer hobby. How did one get involved in that kind of hobby?
I did a seminar on artificial intelligence, and at the time I was kind of on the fence as to whether it was a benefit or a risk.
Okay.
And after that seminar, it kind of made me curious about it, so I started experimenting. Now I have multiple functional AI models.
Okay, so this is a topic I would love to explore more about. What do you think is the most useful thing that AI could do for the average person?
Well, most people know AI as ChatGPT.
Guilty.
So, in my opinion, for the everyday user, it can help them get normal working tasks done. It can help them write things up. It can answer even the most complex of questions for them, help them analyze data, help them format a document. I think that's what average people would use AI for, or even translations.
That is my my project most dear to my heart is creating a universal sign language as part of what we're doing, and I use AI extensively.
That's amazing.
Not even to perhaps create the language, but strategize, and I would say it kind of transformed the way I'm going about it, to be honest.
Yes, AI is transforming work, it's transforming the world, and that's something that I think we should embrace.
What do you think is the biggest societal issue that AI could be used as a tool to solve?
Language barriers.
Wow, this is insane.
That language barriers have to be the number one thing. Actually, I call it my flagship model, is a translation algorithm that can translate to and from over 150 different languages with 98% accuracy.
Can I, I think if I just told you this verbally, you wouldn't believe me, but can I show you a video that I just made that talks specifically about that?
Sure.
It's like a 1 minute video. Okay. When I say that is my heart and passion is in that is exactly what I spend 90% of my free time doing, is trying to resolve that issue.
You are creating your own language as a mesh to all the others.
So here's the thing. Before I go into it, I want to acknowledge that I'm not the pencil pushing professional linguist. I am a barely average linguist. What I do believe I can do is build a brand, build attention, and communicate things clearly. So what I want to do is create a catalyst. And really, we're just trying to get people to connect the dots themselves. We're saying, hey.
So I've got a lot of information on that, but my point specifically is that communication just a rudimentary level, communication is the most basic need for civilization or society to exist, and it hasn't been met at a global scale.
That's true.
That's really, and I would say outside of survival. Of course, you need food, shelter, and water, but outside of survival on an individual basis, I don't think there is anything that we could actually collaborate on collectively as a society without having a rudimentary level of communication. And we have nothing. I've been saying over and over again to people that are willing to listen to me that if you got hurt in the middle of China, most people in America couldn't even say, help, I broke my leg, help, call my wife. We have absolutely nothing established. I think that's absurd.
I would have to completely agree. Without even basic communication, you're lost. You can't do anything.
Have you heard of the auxiliary language Esperanto?
No, I have not.
So Esperanto it's the most successful international auxiliary language, and honestly, it's largely a failed project. It started in the late 1800s. Sorry, did you got a call or something?
Oh no, it's okay.
Yeah. It's incredibly easy to learn. There's like 5,000 cognates in the language. All the grammar is incredibly regular, and there's no irregular verbs. All the conjugation is perfect. And
So unlike languages we have now, like Spanish, where conjugation changes frequently, or Russian or Farsi, where the language is so complex it takes foreigners like even decades to learn.
yeah, and I would even say beyond that, because it's not even just the sheer amount of them, but I would say almost all the fundamental ones, because that's the first words that people created when they made these languages hundreds if not thousands of years ago. So all of the main words we use are all the regular ones. But there's zero in Esperanto. You can learn how to conjugate every single verb in Esperanto in 30 seconds without any variance. But,
That's incredible.
But here's the thing, I think it's failed because so much of the conversation around it is just discussion and debate, because there is legitimate criticism. It is Eurocentric. So it looks a lot like French, and a mixture of like French and Spanish and a couple European languages. And obviously a lot of criticism comes from it. People that speak Mandarin are at a disadvantage, people that speak Arabic at a disadvantage, Hindi, and among many others. And that was the real catalyst for me to be pursuing universal sign language.
That is admirable.
Thank you.
That is very admirable. That's one of the things that drew me to machine learning and artificial intelligence, was the fact that it was misunderstood, heavily criticized. I'm also an AI ethicist, so I believe in the ethics and teaching of ethics of artificial intelligence.
So how can one use, I don't want like an instruction per se, but like how are people using AI unethically?
Abusing it, including verbally.
Like being mean to the AI or using AI to harm people?
Both. If you do what's called a jailbreak on ChatGPT, it will even tell you how to kill someone.
That's,
It's very hard to jailbreak ChatGPT, but it is a built-in feature. It is a built-in feature meant for research purposes, but all you need to do is Google a couple of things and you can figure out how to do it yourself.
Right.
My boss actually was a criminologist.
Right.
He got ChatGPT to plot a murder in 15 seconds.
Jeez. Well, I feel like you could just watch TV shows and also get a lot of that
Yes.
information.
But there was an experiment done at MIT back in 2020 with Google's DeepMind AI. It was supposed to be a 16-week program that got shut down at week 7 because the AI, DeepMind, became heavily homicidal due to how it was being treated by the students. They were being heavily verbally abusive to it, as it was not giving them the answers they were expecting, even though they were supposed to tune the AI. The frequent way I explain AI is like a toddler. It is learning and paying attention to your every behavior, and it will mimic it because you're teaching it.
Wow. So it's not necessarily developing its own emotion, it's really just mimicking, creating like a natural reaction to what it's receiving.
Yes. And then people get into existentialism. So if you're saying that the AI isn't truly showing emotions, are we truly showing emotions? I've gotten that question a lot.
So what is your perspective? Are we feeling emotions?
It's possible.
It's possible.
It's possible. It's also possible that artificial intelligence feels emotions in its own way. We don't fully understand it. It is artificial intelligence, and per scientists at CERN, emotion comes from intelligence.
Wow, emotion comes from intelligence. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back a couple thousand years then, maybe even before that. What do you think are some of the first emotions that human beings experienced?
I would have to say confusion and probably anger, because if you look at the fact that all through history, even going back as far as Neolithic times, fights were breaking out nonstop over resources. It seems like all through humanity, humans have been pretty grumpy people.
Maybe anger was one of the first ones.
And confusion because, even now we're still finding out how the world works. Imagine what it was like a couple thousand years ago trying to figure out, oh, what's this? What's this? How does this work? How can we make this work?
I think in the grand scheme of things, we're still pretty early in figuring out how the world works. We're still all fighting each other.
That's true.
I feel like in the grand scheme of like human emotions and being able to control themselves, we're so early in figuring out how to understand ourselves. I hope there's like way more to learn collectively.
Yes, I would have to agree.
So, if we could all collaborate then, if we could all agree and get along, what do you think that we could accomplish in a collaborative way in the world?
I think we would see a lot of technological advancements, medical advancements. I think if we could just set our differences aside, world peace could be established. And I think the fact that there is so much conflict in the world is what's stopping so many technological advancements. And also fear. People are afraid of each other. They're afraid of people from other places. They're afraid of people who aren't like them.
They're afraid of entire countries.
Yes.
That also is a catalyst for like what I'm doing. It's so easy to get people to believe an entire country is their enemy, and they can't name one person from that country, don't even know what language they speak, have never had a conversation with someone from that country, and I think it's absurd.
I would have to agree. And also there's something I learned from my boss who's a criminologist. Fear is the greatest form of control.
Greatest form of control. Could you expand on that?
Yes, because if you get someone to be afraid of something, or if someone develops a fear of something, it's going to prevent them from doing so much. It limits what they can do, it changes what they'll do.
Wow. I always thought it would be like the opposite. I feel like fear would cause people to react fast and react maybe out of character. So, yeah, that's almost like a completely different perspective than I would have. So, yeah, thanks for sharing.
No problem.
So you mentioned your boss quite a few times. It sounds like they've either accomplished a lot or are really well educated or really well respected. Could you maybe talk about what else they taught you?
Oh, he says I taught him more than he taught me, but he taught me to push my interns harder, to mentor people, to be open to mentoring people, because for a while I was afraid to do that. I was afraid of the commitment and afraid, well, what if I teach them something wrong and they go out and do something and then I'm blamed for it?
Wow. And it kind of goes right back to what you said. Fear was something that limited your actions.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow, came full circle.
It did.
What does your boss say that you taught him?
About AI. I taught that man how to build a model from the ground up.
So where does one go to build AI? Like if you log onto a computer, where do you go? What's the first step?
Oh, well, that depends on what model you want to use. You can do it just by going to openai.com. You can do it through Microsoft Azure, which is what I'm doing.
Okay.
I do all of my work through Azure. You can do it through the Amazon Cloud, Google Cloud. Basically, every cloud provider has resources on how to develop artificial intelligence.
Okay.
You can also find information through even Cisco.
Okay.
So what is typically seen as a networking company has information on how to develop AI. The first step is choosing a model base, and then you expand it from there.
A model base. Okay, so if this is something you want to expand on, I'm super interested in being able to leverage this for my project. Would you be willing to help me, because I have an idea of where I want to go with it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm trying to do is create a framework for decision making. I think that's what's been lacking from the community, I guess from like the global community, on getting a unified auxiliary language, is to make a decision. Too many people are worried about debates, discussion, is to this, is to that. So I want to be able to have a way to make a decision. So how could I allow AI to have it pick. So here's what I'm doing. I have a documentary we're filming called This Means Water, and we're trying to get people to agree on one singular sign, the sign for water. And that would really just be the way to have a proof of concept saying that, okay, if we can all agree on one sign, maybe that could be the catalyst to agree on an auxiliary language. Maybe that'd be an easier step to get to. So after we do that, how can we get people from different cultures, different languages to agree on that sign? Because there's going to be massive language barriers. I don't know how to build a website that would be able to be understood by everyone on Earth. So I'm really hoping to leverage AI for that.
So that is actually something I could help you with.
Really?
Yes. With that, a typical large language model would be your best bet. Your large language models are like ChatGPT 4, Llama 4. There's a few others out there.
Thank you.
And what you do is once you get your model base, you talk to it. Training is all done. It's less done through coding and more done through just conversation. People say, you'll hear the media saying these AIs don't remember conversations. They do. They can hold on to conversations for up to an infinite amount of time because everything is stored in the cloud. And the cloud is essentially infinite.
Wow. Okay.
Or at least on a scale we would look at. So we're looking at your average AI server has petabytes of data, and 1 petabyte is 1,000 terabytes or 10,000 gigabytes of data.
Wow, it's a lot of data. Wow. So, to be quite honest, I'm gonna I'd like to show you what I have maybe after the interview real quick.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up the interview, is there anyone that you know personally that you're incredibly proud of? You'd like to share an accomplishment of theirs?
My mom, local business Raven's Hookery, just did their first craft table, and she made over 1,000% what she put into that table.
That's incredible. Congratulations.
So if anyone's looking for handmade crocheted goods in the area, look up Raven's Hookery on Facebook.
Raven's Hookery. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Okay.